right? So we just had a review meeting with the stuff I just sent you. We just had a review meeting with some of our longest clients and friends, essentially, and I'm not going to share their names or stuff, but I'm going to share their story because it's inspiring, right? These guys came to me, they travelled Australia in the military, that kind of stuff, and like a lot of military people, they get hooked into property, right? Start buying property, and they got caught up with a couple of property spruikers that did the old classic, property always goes up when it doesn't. They unfortunately got stuck with a property that definitely didn't go up and was a problem. It was a big problem. And they came to me after probably a year or two of trying to figure this property thing out. And the reality was they were on the borderline of really not being able to afford me or not, because of how much of a pickle they were in. But I could see the potential. I could see the long-term benefit, and it wasn't going to happen overnight. But they did have to stick to a plan, because if they kept doing what they were doing, they were going to lose everything, really. So we started working together. We figured out a way for them to afford my fees, and that was 3.5 years ago. Now, the point of this story, these guys are normal income earners. They're, around $100,000 a year net income, which is normal to probably low for a household. Young couple, kids, and we put a plan in place. And the last 2.5 years has been deficits, has been making the deficit smaller, right? So you want to talk about what return can you get me? Well, these guys had to trust in me and see the picture, because I couldn't do anything straight away. I couldn't make the sun come out from behind the rain immediately. It had to take time. And it did. It took time, but they trusted me and they stuck to the process. And like I said, every year was a deficit. It wasn't a nice review every year, but we could see the light at the end of the tunnel a little bit. They couldn't, but I couldn't. Please, trust me, stick to it. Boom. We offloaded a property. We did this, we did this. Bang! 2021 comes. Do their review this year. Over $550,000 gained in 1 year. In 1 year. But that wasn't overnight success from 1 year's lot of work. That was 3 years of grinding and struggling and sticking to the plan and trusting in our process and doing what they had to do to get there. And then in 1 year, kaboom, there's the return. So they've spent $9 grand on my fees in 3 years. And they got their first return this year of not including super, I'm talking a total return on their portfolio of $565,000. $9 grand into $565,000, that's not a bad fucking investment if you ask me. That's the shit you got to look forward to. That's the shit you got to understand. Maybe you can't do it yourself. That's the shit you've got to have some foresight for. Right? It's really important that it's not just about what do I spend now and get tomorrow, because sometimes it doesn't work that way. Right? Sometimes it doesn't work that way. Sometimes it does, but most times it doesn't. And you got to make sure you understand what you're doing on that front, because trying to rush it too much could really see you up shit creek without a paddle. For fuck's sake.